This is going to be, hello. This is going to be another video on using the Pathfinder tool and the blend tool on Illustrator. Okay. So moving forward with my Air Jordan, I'm just going to create another layer here because I just like using layers to dissect things. So if you wanted things above or below, just a reminder, if you can right click, go to arrange, and you can say you want to send this to the back or send it to the front. So guys, see how this is messy? I'm not going to mark that because I won't see it, right? Just present your graphics as so. Now I could technically say, hey, I want this part, Command X cuts the object. I'll put the layer 3, Command F, that puts it in front. Okay. I can call this layer the sole, and I'll call this the mid, and I'll call this the original, the origin. All right, so I'm going to use just show you some basics with the Pathfinder tool. So to find Pathfinder, you can go to Window and click on Pathfinder, and this should pop up. Pathfinder options. Don't really need that one. Okay, so what I'm going to focus on is I love this part of the Air Jordan 5, the mesh here, the plastic mesh, and I'm going to show you how I would attack it. Okay, and you can probably attack it different ways, but I'm going to show you how I attack it. And some of you guys might have mesh material or some type of material on your shoe that you might be interested in using this technique. Okay, so check this out. The rounded rectangle tool. Okay, I'm going to click on a layer on my mid, and I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to make kind of a pill-shaped object. Now, with using the rectangle tool, click once, and you can actually play with the corner radius. So if you want the radius to be sharper, you can play with the dimensions. Okay. Now, you know what? First, I'll start off with the blend tool, and then I'll go into the Pathfinder. Okay. So, Tinker, the designer of the shoe, I love saying Tinker. Okay, I'm just going to use a rotation tool and size it up. Now, if you noticed, some of these perforations in the mesh, they start off thick, and after they get bigger. Would you guys agree that's bigger back down here? Yeah. So I'm going to rotate it in place. And what I'm going to do here, actually, I'm going to go Command Z, back a step. How would I stretch this, guys? How would I stretch this shape? Would I just do this? Is that the proper way of doing it? Did you guys notice something? Yeah, Ron, you notice something different with that? Look what happens when I stretch it more. What happens to my radius? It gets distorted. Okay? I want that nice radius. So what I'm going to do here is get my direct selection tool. Just select. Do you guys notice I'm selecting these 3 and not those 3? You guys see that? I'm going to click and drag holding shift, and I'll just stretch out those points. So I'm not actually proportionally changing the size, I'm just stretching out the vector anchors. Now I would go in and rotate this and put it in position. Okay, the blend tool, so much fun. How can I get all these shapes instead of copy and paste them 100 times? Use the blend tool. So what I'll do here is I'll select this shape, hold shift and select the other. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. I'm going to show you 2 ways. Object, blend, and blend options. Figure out how much shapes you want in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'll put 11 shapes and press OK. Now people get upset. Sir, I pressed OK, nothing happened. Because you didn't actually say make. I'm going to go object, path, blend and make. All right, so Illustrator made the blend. It also incrementally sized. You guys see the size difference? It incrementally changes the size of all those objects. Now, if I get the direct selection tool, I can press convert curves, and I'll do that for both points. And I can play with the handles and play with the geometry, and it'll flow to that path. Is that cool? Now, you can do many wonderful things with blend tool. Let me just go off the side here and just show you. For example, if I get a star tool, and I give this a green color. And let's say I grab another shape. Actually, let's do a circle. Holding shift, and I'll grab a different color. Oops. I always find this a little tricky, guys. Make sure you have the fill and stroke color ahead so you can fill it in. Now, I could show you, actually I'm going to show you this, the blend tool. Essentially, it's the same way I just did it, but you can literally click and drag the two shapes together. So I'm just clicking on both shapes. And because you're blending color and shape, Illustrator will automatically proportionally scale the two objects. Now check this out. If I get my direct selection tool, and I did the same thing, I convert my tool. So click on this right here. You can play with the geometry of your line, and it will follow that path. If you click and drag this, you can actually separate the objects in between. So the further away, okay. What's cool about this too is I'm going to hold Alt and duplicate this. If you go to Object and Expand, what this does, it separates all the individual vectors as individual shapes. So you can go Ungroup. If you wanted to, you can click and drag those shapes. Is that kind of cool? Okay. Thank you. Now, in doing so, guys, I'm going to show you some cool things with the Pathfinder tool. Right? I'm going to focus in on this area here. I'm going to grab my Pathfinder tool. Now, how the Pathfinder tool works, guys, there's tons of options. The first one is your Unite. Technically, if you have any overlapping colors or shapes, you press Unite, they all become one. Okay, I'm going to press Command Z. If you press the intersect or minus front, anything that's above will get minused. Now, that didn't do much there. That's actually really good if you're just doing two shapes, to be honest. So the magenta color shape will cut into the green. Okay, Command Z, go back. Now, you can explore the other ones. I don't usually use the other ones. The one I really use is the Divide tool. Now, what you do with the Divide tool is you select all your objects, click on this icon right here, Divide. Any intersecting lines will now get trimmed. I'm going to press Object and Ungroup, and I can essentially go into any shape, delete them, or I can assign a different color for that shape. So if you're into Picasso-esque type of artwork, you might like this feature. Delete. Now, I'm going to stop right there because this will segue into creating a symbol and pattern for our next segment of the videos. Okay?